Paw Prince, back this time for the Define Feminine reading. I do read for the collective, so that means some bits may resonate, all of it may resonate, or none of it may resonate. And if none of it resonates, that just means this reading is not for you at this time. I also read with intuition. So that means I read with what I see and feel and pick up within the cards. If any of you are watching do like the way I read, if you could like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. If any of you are wondering, I'm using the Steampunk Tarot. And if any of you watching would ever like to send me in new cards to keep my readings new and fresh, I will have a wish list linked in the description below. With that said, let's find out for the Define Feminine. So, there is a situation where you are trying to move forward full steam ahead, but you are stuck and jolted. The situation that you are believing that it's just a waiting game, that you are looking back on the things you've done and the things you want to do, and you're just thinking everything's going to be a waiting game because this is very cloudy right now. The things that's going to happen, the things you want to happen are very cloudy and you're not really sure, so you're just going to choose it to be a waiting game and you're just going to leave it. And you're not really doing much about it while you're stuck. You're really just sitting there trying to take it in, but you're not really actually taking anything. You're just sitting there, really. You're not really learning anything or doing anything from sitting there. You're just sitting there. And the thing is, it's causing a lot of... you're being very defensive about the situation, that if anything new comes your way, you're being very defensive towards the new thing. You're very not like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. Because so far the one piece that you want to fit isn't fitting right. And it's because you're not looking at it from the right angle. And it's causing a lot of like bickering and drama within your life. And the thing is, you have that element within inside you, and you're the reason you're not moving forward. No one else, just yourself. It's like you're being very selfish with yourself. Bless me. You're being very selfish within yourself, as in... within, like, the things you do, as in... you're not being as given lately. You're waiting for something to present itself for you to open up a bit more emotionally. You're kind of keeping either something to yourself. You're not kind of opening up fully about something. You're kind of putting on this facade and this kind of front that isn't really you. And it's because you want to ask for help, but you're usually the one that helps everybody else. And now you don't want to look like you're helpless or defenseless. If you dare ask for help, you'd rather struggle alone and look like you're able to save everybody else than rather save yourself. So let's get some triggers for the DS. Let's get some triggers. Let's get some triggers. Some triggers. Let's get some triggers. Some triggers. So you've kind of emotionally, like spiritually overheated. You usually fueled your spiritual side with your emotions, your intuition, and you've kind of tried to take a more brutal, like logical, like perspective and stance towards us, and it's not working. You've kind of blocked out that emotional, and that's kind of what called everything. Having your emotions intact with it is what kind of helped cool the system, help the cogs turn, and kind of grease the cogs, and kind of had systems moving and didn't overheat the system. And because you've had the spiritual thing, it's kind of everything's overheated, and now you've kind of now got to let it have time to cool down. Kind of step back and look at where things start to go wrong, and kind of rethink it, and kind of put a bit of emotion into it. Kind of be a bit more intact with your emotions, and don't be so assertive all the time. You can have some assertion in there, but you also need to have that flow of mainly whatever you put in there with being authoritative and like assertive, you need to put in there the same amount with emotion. You need to have that balance for you to be able to flow and be able to have that full round harmonious. And for you to be able to guide your way, because you are being guided, but the thing is, because you're being authoritative, you're trying to see the logical side and not the creative side of it, if that makes sense. You're rather trying to see it from a logical perspective rather than a intuition one. And thing is, to go down this path, you need to have a mixture of both. You can't go down one path without having to go down the other, so you kind of need the paths to blend. So let's get some guidance and advice. 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 So straight away, no one is going to be able to help you. You're going to have to help yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone else does or says. You need to be able to get up and see the mistake for yourself. Until you see the mistake for yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone says, you're not going to be able to move forward. You kind of need to be open to letting out the bits that you've kind of kept in. You need to be able to show that vulnerability. You don't literally need to be like, well, this, and this, and this, and this. You need to be able to apply your vulnerability without literally saying it. And that's what's going to help you move forward from what you were struggling to move forward. And it's going to be, once you start moving forward, you're going to look back and be like, you know what, it was so easy. Why was I looking at it like this for so long, so wrong? Because a lot of it is mental, and you don't realise that it's all in your head of what's stopping you, and you can't see it. But once you reveal that part of you and you understand, you won't have that bit like, oh, I was stuck. You're gonna have like this epiphany, and you'll be able to realise that it was literally you stopping yourself, and it's all it is right now is you stopping yourself, and you need to take a few steps back to move 10 steps forward. So that's what I'm getting for the Defined Feminine. Thanks for watching.